The Western Conference Semifinals, Game 1. The Golden State Warriors earned their bid into Round 2 after a hard-fought 6-game series. Now, the stakes are greater, the challenge that much tougher as they prepare to do battle against Seattle. The opening game of the conference semifinals, up next.
Welcome into Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Top-seeded Seattle playing host to the Golden State Warriors in what should be a very entertaining matchup. Seattle fresh off of what was a very competitive series, but they had to rally back from down 2-1 to the Phoenix Suns to get the win. Meanwhile, Golden State took down Minnesota in a 6-game series. So the Seattle Sonics with their star Alshon Webb, there's Franklin Knox getting his scoring going. You've got Alexander Sangalia, you've got Mao Chung Lu, the number 4 pick in the same draft class as Deontay Dixon, who of course has gone on to all NBA levels. Mao Chung Lu, not quite to that level as Dixon gets his first basket of the game. Donnell Everett is the other starter for this group, and plus Franklin Knox. There's Alshon Webb banking one home. This series, though, for Seattle is going to be predicated off of number 4 in White. What Webb can do. I mean, he's an offensive star. He's a fulcrum on the offensive end. He does a lot of great things with the basketball. And if he's able to get rolling, and the Golden State Warriors have Caden Dickerson on him right now, and he makes quick work of the drive-by, but a block by Kingston keeps this going. Here is Mao Chung Lu, step back triple, gets it to go, and Seattle's got a 12-9 lead here early on in the first quarter. If the Sonics can get some help as Donnell Everett goes to work, and Javon Roll arguing there with Russell Kingston, if Alshon Webb can get some help on the offensive end, there's a real chance. I mean, look, Seattle, the best record in the Western Conference for a reason. This is a great defense. This is an offense that when Webb is rolling is really freaking good as well. But it's a team that has a singular option. If they can get help, and they have so far here through the first half or the first quarter, then they're going to be in good shape. There's Nicholas Cherry. He's going to be a big number to watch for this team, and a great play there by Webb as he gets Branko Todorovic easily. Nicholas Cherry and Xavier Ashley, a pair of really good offensive options. No switch there, and Alshon Webb up and over top of Deontay Dixon, and it's an early 4-point edge, and here comes the Golden State Warriors. This is going to be a team that, as we've talked about all season long, what do they get? And right back to that high pick off-ball screen. They ran that on back-to-back possessions, both of them successful for the Sonics. Here is Webb, but what do the Warriors get from their other guys? Can Caden Dickerson, can Lynn Gardner, can Russell Kingston, who had that big Game 6 to close out Minnesota? If those guys can get rolling, Golden State's got a real shot. But their stars are going to have to be stars. In my opinion, and I said this in the end of the first round recap, is I think that Golden State wins this series. The veteran presence that this team has, I think it's just better than whatever the Seattle Sonics going to bring at you as Jalen House gets a triple to go, and it's a 1-point game. But early on in this one, as Xavier Ashley pull-up triple falls, the Seattle Sonics are playing quite well in their defense. You see that in the bottom right, holding Javon Roll to just 4 points on 1 of 7 shooting. And there is some of that depth that the Sonics bring. Good take inside. Javon Roll trying to get rolling. First foul called there on Alshon Webb. We're still in the second quarter. We're going to give you quite a big look at this just because this is a massive game. Seattle has a chance to kind of upend and end the campaign of this Warriors team. Great driving layup, won't go. Russell Kingston, though, picking up the scraps for an easy bucket, and it's back to a 4-point game here. Inside they go to Kuminga. He can't get that. The offensive board, though, up and good. Golden State has not been able to really find much offensive rhythm in this one. Seattle has really dominated. Here comes Mao Chong-Lu. Not a good three-point shooter, but Alexander Sangalia can finish, and he's happy about that. Sangalia, 18 points, 11 rebounds during the regular season. Timeout here, and you get a little look at Alshon Webb, who is carrying a 4-point lead here for the Seattle Sonics as we're in the conference semifinals, and a big chance here for the Golden State Warriors and Seattle Sonics to get rolling. Inbound we go. That's Kuminga. He goes to roll, and there's a triple finally falling as Golden State trying to keep close in this one. We're seeing a lot of off-ball work right now as Mao Chong-Lu gets that one up and over top of Javon Roll. I think that's a really interesting look that we're seeing. Sure, Alshon Webb is doing things like that, very unstoppable with the mid-range floater to push it to 5, but a lot of off-ball work to free up some of these shooters. Here's Webb. Screen there from Everett going past Javon Roll. Little contact, no call, but Alshon Webb looking at his right hand like, yes, I can do that. 7-point lead here, 3 minutes to go. Golden State has found no answer on the defensive end. They're trying to do something on the offensive end as Javon Roll cuts this to a 3-point game. Now we look at a little switch here. We got Deontay Dixon guarding Alshon Webb. We'll see if that kind of helps things. Certainly a size advantage, and a tough bucket won't go, so the immediate returns there as Golden State moves to Dixon here in the second quarter guarding Webb, and then he blows right past him. Easy 2. We're back to a 1-point game. Free throw pushes it to 2. Here comes a little inverted pick and roll. Pick out. Javon Roll triple rattling home in Golden State since early in the first quarter. I don't even think they've led at this point. Maybe a 9-7, although Alshon Webb right past Deontay Dixon over Lynn Gardner. He's saying, doesn't matter who you guard me, I'm still going to take care of business. We're at the half, 54-51. Alshon Webb carrying this Seattle Sonics team, trying to get a Game 1 win against a team that has won 3 of the last 4 NBA championships. Seattle had to take down Phoenix, the Western Conference champions, last round. Opening up the second half is Deontay Dixon, and the Golden State Warriors here is the next team that Seattle is trying to knock off and get that, hey, you got to take us seriously mantra. Off-ball work again, freeing up Alshon Webb. We are seeing a lot of that so far in this one is Seattle trying to find ways to get Alshon Webb free from his defender. Good take there from from Javon Roll over top of Franklin Knox. Mao Chong-Lu, not a good three-point shooter in the regular season, buries his second of this game. Very wide open in Seattle. Every single time that Golden State has rallied into this one is Deontay Dixon using a little free-up screen from Russell Kingston, finishing over his classmate, Mao Chong-Lu, the best Chinese prospect to enter the NBA since Yao Ming when he came in, and through his first 5 years hasn't quite lived up to that billing. Although Caden Dickerson, right there, we've got ourselves back on top for the Golden State Warriors. 8 minutes to go. That will be short-lived as Alshon Webb answers. Again, off-ball screens opening up lanes here for Alshon Webb. That is what the Seattle Sonics have done, and Russell Kingston skying a little wing-to-wing action. Dixon to Kuminga on top of the veteran Franklin Knox. Big bucket for Kuminga, who has struggled in this one. Here's Webb. Not a great three-point shooter. He says, I'm going to the paint, and I'm doing it hardcore right on top of Russell Kingston and getting this Climate Pledge Arena on their feet. Again, going past him. Tough finish around Javon Roll. Looks at the Warriors bench like not a person you throw out there is going to guard me. 7.5 to go here in the third quarter. Kicked inside. Kingston with the slam, and back and forth like a teeter-totter we go in this third quarter. Golden State on top by 2. Webb on Kuminga. Takes on Dixon and Kuminga, a pair of all-NBA wings. None of that deterring Alshon Webb. We're knotted at 67. No longer, though, as Javon Roll answers with a triple. Now, the Sonics have been using a lot of off-ball screens to free up their start. Golden State now doing the same. Back-to-back triples, and suddenly it's a 6-point game. Fast forward, and it's 8. Turnover, here comes Todorovic. He's going to find Lynn Gardner. Tough bucket, gets it to go against Sangalia, and the Warriors are on top by 10. So it's always going to be about the Avalanche. Can you avoid the Golden State Avalanche? Can you answer it? The Sonics did a great job in the first half. Here in the second, they have not been able to weather the storm. 8-point game. Tough foul, though, and here they come. 5 quick points by Sangalia, and it's a 5-point game. Inside, Dixon Gets it to go ahead of Mao Chung Lu, and the Warriors are back on top by 9. Under 2 to go to play in the third. Beautiful up and under by Nicholas Cherry, answering the bell. The Sonics, and we're not going quietly. Mismatch for Dixon on Xavier Ashley, and with ease, the All-NBA wing gets 2 to go, and we're back to 10. Here comes Xavier Ashley. Now, he had the game winner in Game 3 of the Sun series. He's keeping them alive here with that late bucket. Big blocks as we get some highlights from the first 3 quarters. End of 3 in Seattle. We're going to the 4th. You know what that means? Every single make and miss coming up on deck. Is it going to be the dynastic Warriors or the upstart Seattle Sonics in the 4th quarter? 8-point game. Let's get into the action. Kicks it. Alshon Webb driving. On roll. Easily up and in, and we're back to 6. Here comes Nicholas Cherry on the ensuing possession. A turnover by the Warriors. This one kicks away, and down goes Webb in the backcourt. That is not a good sign. Here comes Javon Roll. Pull-up jumper. Buries home a triple, but there's worse things to see, and it's Alshon Webb clutching at his shoulder. Got tangled up with Lynn Gardner, and that is the feeling of Seattle right now. Their star, who's on his way to 40 points in this one, sitting on the bench. They're down 9. Who can answer? Xavier Ashley coming in with the first bucket to go, 7 points. Here comes Kuminga, driving past, can't get it to go. Gabe Pettit, the second-year pro on the board. Here's Nicholas Cherry. We talked about him being their second-best option when he's cooking, and he is doing just that. We're up to a 6-point game. Xavier Ashley, pull-up, jumper. Won't go. Defensive board, and the Warriors try to answer and push it down on the other end. Freeing up, Jalen House, open jumper. Off the back rim, rattles around, and it's a 6-point game. 8:40 to go. Here's Kuminga. Guarded by... who is that? Lamar Gibbs for the Sonics. Good block on there, but Jonathan Kuminga sticks with it and answers. Timeout on the other side of it. 8.5 to go. We're getting the news that there is no more Alshon Webb in this one, which means that man, Nicholas Cherry, is going to have to get rolling. We talked about in the open. Who is going to answer the call for the Sonics? And right now they're going to need somebody to do that as the Warriors have ballooned the lead to 11. Quick bucket on the opposite end, and it's stacked back down to 9. Here comes Roll. Driving. Floater. Over the defender. Nicholas Cherry on the board. 7.5 to go. The Seattle Sonics are sticking close. Pull-up jumper. Won't fall on the opposite end, and the Golden State Warriors have a shot here. Dixon gets Dion Ivey in the air, and the one-handed tomahawk. And we're back to 11. That's where we've sat pretty much this entire 4th quarter, is that 7 to 11 range, and that's where Golden State sits. 6.5 to go in the 4th. Kick out. Javon Roll. Crossover on the rookie. Up and in. Javon Roll, the multiple-time MVP, the multiple-time Finals MVP. Nicholas Cherry, though, left open, and he buries it, keeping them within arm's length. Backing down Ivy. Here is Dixon. Past the midway point of the 4th, and Dixon won't get it to go. Good defense there from the rookie. Kick out to Lou. Inside. Trying to find some space. Up and over Kingston, and a much-needed bucket to stem the bleeding. Back down to 8. Kick up top to Dixon. He's guarded again by Ivy. Switch hands in the air. And it is tough to slow down Deontay Dixon when he's rolling. Here's Donnell Everett. That's blocked by Kingston. At the shot clock won't go. Beautiful defensive possession there from the Golden State Warriors. Under 5 to go. 10-point game still. Here's Dixon. Inside, a little spinning pirouette, looking at his left hand like, yes, I can do that myself as well. Here's Mao Chung Lu. Left open. Good feed inside to a cutting Nicholas Cherry, and it's back down to 10. Kingston kicks it out to Kuminga. He's been quiet tonight. Going to continue to be quiet tonight. And the Sonics trying to answer. Nicholas Cherry with a screen, left open, gets the jumper to go. So if the Sonics have got any silver lining from losing Webb in this one, and we don't know the duration of it, as Javon Roll can't get the 3 to fall, it's that Nicholas Cherry is showing himself as an offensive creator off the bench, guarded by Roll, though won't get that to fall. Staying at 8, 3 minutes to go. Clock ticking on a Seattle Sonics comeback. It's Deontay Dixon. Deep check 3 won't fall. Under 3 to go we are. Good screen here from Sangalia. Frees up Cherry. He's hit one pull-up. Can't get that pull-up to go. Rebound for Dixon. Dixon to the corner. Some off-ball screens for Jonathan Kuminga. Triple. Rattles home, and it's an 11-point game. That might be the nail in the coffin here in Game 1 of this Western Conference semifinals matchup. Inside Everett goes, kick out, Franklin Knox, 3, won't go, Sangalia back to Knox. 2 chances at it, neither falls, and it stays at an 11-point game. Javon Roll starting to bleed out the clock. Step back 3 won't fall. Rebound for Everett, and this is probably the last gasp with a minute left. Can Cherry keep things interesting? Gets the up and under to fall over Kuminga. Ensuing possession. Here is Kuminga driving on Knox. Step back. Step around. Can't get it. The Golden State Warriors leaving the door open, splitting a pair of free throws. We're under 30 seconds. Here comes Javon Roll. Slapped away by Sangalia. Kick out to Kuminga. 20 seconds. 8-point game, a bucket puts this away. Finds its way to Javon Roll. Triple! Won't go. And there's going to be, 13 seconds. The amount of time that bled out the clock there, the decision not to foul, ultimately going to make this one pay. And 111-103, your final. Golden State on the road with a much-needed win. Golden State gets home court advantage from the Sonics. A great game from Dixon, 31 points. 28 points from Javon Roll, struggled from deep, 5 for 12, and a tough night from Jonathan Kuminga on his way on 5 of 17 shooting. Just really did not play that well. On the opposite side, certainly Alshon Webb with a great night, 27 points. It felt like more than that. Xavier Ashley had 13 off the bench. Nicholas Cherry, we talked about him during the broadcast, does an Alshon Webb impression on his way to 21. But at the end of the day, it is Golden State getting a Game 1 win. And what's the big takeaway? The largest takeaway has to be, what is Alshon Webb going to be? Is he going to be available for this team in Game 2 with that shoulder injury? Is he going to be available in Game 3? All signs point to him trying to play through it. MRI's negative. He's going to be healthy enough to potentially play the classic regular season. He's probably not playing, but it's the postseason and he's playing. Look, that is the story of this series. If Alshon Webb is available, then the Seattle Sonics have a chance, because what he looked like through 3 quarters and change was upper echelon point guard. I mean, you want to talk Javon Roll, Brighton Reed, Javon Stokes, your top guys, Jalen Justice. That's what Alshon Webb looked like. Unguardable by Caden Dickerson, unguardable by Deontay Dixon. The Warriors threw everything at him, and they still were not able to slow him down. And that's it. And we talked about it from the jump of that Game 1. What does this team look like without Alshon Webb? Can somebody else produce? They got a good night from Nicholas Cherry. He's a good number 2 option for him. They're going to need more. But that's what the series hinges on. And you hate to see that for a team that fought their way through a really tough Phoenix series to win in the opening round. The best record in the Western Conference. Everybody's trying to make light of that. That just seems like, you look at this group, that's ultimately what this is going to come down to. Is Alshon Webb healthy? For the Golden State Warriors, though, I thought that this was a good night from the guys they needed to be good. Jonathan Kuminga, you'd like to be more productive. He missed a lot of layups that we didn't really catch up in the full recap of Game 1. That's got to be better, because Golden State, I thought, survived this game. They shot really great from deep in the second half. They ended up shooting 43% from the game. This is a Golden State Warriors team that was +5 from deep and was +7 from the free throw line. And you only won by 8 points. That, if you're Seattle, you have to feel really good about. And if you're Golden State, sure, you're a team that relies on three-pointers. You got outscored in the paint 58-50. You did not do a great job on the glass. The Russell Kingston that we saw to close out the Minnesota series wasn't really present in Game 1 in Seattle. Golden State's got to find it. This has always been the story. This season for the Golden State Warriors is 100% going to hinge on, are they able to get somebody else to make baskets? In Game 1, their top 2 guys did, their third guy didn't. Nobody else on that roster broke double figures. That has to change if Golden State is going to win this series. Game 2, we'll be back for a full recap of Game 4, but Game 2 and Game 3 are big. If the Warriors can get one of them, I think this series is a wrap. If Seattle can manage to be 2-1 as we head to Game 4, they've got life. They're going to have to win in the Bay, which is not an easy place to do, not an easy place to get it done. Seattle's going to have to do it, and we'll see potentially with a very limited Alshon Webb. Let's go around the league, and we're going to start in the Western Conference, where it is a blowout win for the Sacramento Kings, 123-94. Don't need Jason Sanders in the opener. It's Tyrese Alston with 29 to lead the way for the Kings. 17 points from Tobias Bell. Really great defensive night from the Kings. They held the Thunder to just 20% shooting. They outscored the Thunder. The Kings did 13 made threes to 5. So a huge margin of victory for this squad. Also, 54 free throws for the Sacramento Kings. An absolutely mind-boggling Game 1 figure. That gives the Kings Game 1. Does that change the series? I picked the Kings in this one. Does that change the series? That to me reinforces that I think this is a better Kings team. The Thunder are going to have to find some offensive options here because in Game 1 they simply did not have it. Their stars were not getting it done. You need big nights from Tobias Bell. Nobody breaks 20. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't even get across 15. That's got to change for the Thunder. They need to win at home in Game 2. They cannot afford to go on the road to Sacramento in Game 3 down 2-0, facing an uphill battle in a game that they did not look good at in Game 1. Kings up 1-0. Let's head to the Eastern Conference, where the Chicago Bulls take care of business 116-103, 23 points from Javon Stokes in a double-double effort, 20 from Chapman, their lone veteran leader. He hits 4 threes in that one. 5 Bulls in double figures in the win for Chicago. It overshadows a big night from Dwayne Qualls, 35 points, but nothing from Doncic, not much from Jules Petras, who was a big barometer of success for the Bucks in the opening round. The Bucks are facing an uphill battle. Chicago's been the best team in basketball all season long. They have gone on that trend of 2 years ago, make the playoffs. Last season, win in the first round. Now, young, experienced, dominant. Everything about this team points to they're going to get it done. That was confirmed in Game 1. I don't think Milwaukee has a great matchup here. The number of options that the Bulls have at their disposal, the depth that the Bulls have at their disposal, that's why Chicago's up 1-0. I'm not at all surprised that they're winning Game 1. I think this could be a quick 5-6 game series at absolute most, especially when you get a huge night from Dwayne Qualls and you cannot execute. Game 1 in Brooklyn, we've got an upset. The Charlotte Hornets take down the Brooklyn Nets 136-126. How about this? 32 points from Jonathan Malhieur with 14 assists. 31 points from Robert Mack to go with 12 boards and 9 assists. And then 24 from Malik Hightower and then 21 from Shane Ruffin. That's what the Hornets wanted. They went out, they got Malik Hightower in the offseason. They traded for Shane Ruffin. And Game 1 is exactly the type of performance that you would look for if you're the Charlotte Hornets to validate this is a really good basketball team. We felt like we were a couple pieces away, and over the course of 6 months, they made 2 of the most impactful moves in the NBA. They got things done, and they take care of business in Game 1. This is a huge win for Charlotte. Do I think that they can win this series? With Robert Mack and Jonathan Malhieur, I really do. Robert Mack is, in my opinion, the best center in all of basketball. Yes, Abi Zojale just won the MVP. I don't care. I think Robert Mack, for what he can do, he's a 3-level scorer. He's a guy that's dominant on the interior. He's dominant on the perimeter. And they have these weapons now. This is a big question mark. Yes, you got the Rashawn Matthews matchup inside. You've got Brighton Reed and Jonathan Malhieur. The question mark for this series is going to be who gets it done on the perimeter for Brooklyn when you've got to deal with both Malik Hightower and Shane Ruffin. If you can stop both of those guys, and you're going to put Savion White probably on Ruffin as he was in Game 1, it didn't really impact him too much. Who else can you have on this Brooklyn team? This is a team that's got 3 stars. I don't know that I would quite go the 4-star route for Charlotte, but they sure as heck looked like it in Game 1, 136-126. The Hornets stunningly take home court advantage from the second-seeded Brooklyn Nets. How about Charlotte? Down, looking like their backs against the wall against Indy after building that lead. You hold them off with Game 7. This is the moment that the Charlotte Hornets have been waiting on, and they bowl their way in to Game 1 of the conference semifinals with a win. We're coming back, like I said earlier, for Game 4. So we're gonna watch Game 4, Golden State, Seattle. We'll do quick recaps of 2 and 3 across the league. Quick recap of everything else that's happening. This is the best time. I love the conference semifinals. It's my favorite time of the NBA season because you just get one step away from the conference finals. And I think if you can make the conference finals, you can tell yourself we can win an NBA championship. That's why the conference semifinals is great. That's what you get. 4 elite series. We got 4 great series already off the books. 2 teams go on the road and get wins. Actually, I take that back. 3 teams go on the road and get wins. The Bulls, the only ones to hold court in Game 1. We will see if that lasts in Games 2 and 3. Coming up next, right here on The Golden Era.